Hi folks, it's Iceberg and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm gonna review a new product from Linsoul, the tribrid PunchAudio Martilo. It's their first premium basshead model, equipped with two dynamic drivers, dual Knowles armature drivers and a planar tweeter, priced at $329. So let's see what PunchAudio and Linsoul have cooked up for us in their first model and find out if these amps really punch or just tickle your ears. Let's go! And before moving on to the review, I would like to thank the Linsoul team for Martilo and their continued support. Really appreciate that. All the purchase link you can find in the description below the video. Well guys, the first thing we see is the box, which looks really nice. On the front, you can see an image of the shells themselves, along with the model name, brand logo and driver configuration. On the side, we see a brief specifications, and the other side, a detailed driver configuration, 2 DD, 2 BAs and 1 planar. The unboxing experience for this model is truly impressive compared to other models in this price segment. So, let's enjoy it together. Inside the box we can see a quite rich kit, which includes the IEMs themselves of course, a modular 2-pin cable with 2-pin connectors, 3.5 and 4.4 plugs, 2 sets of ear tips, replaceable meshes, and a very spacious case, which will fit more than one IEMs. Speaking about the cable, it's really bulky here, designed for brutal heavy metal fans. It's thick, heavy, dense, but it doesn't get tangled and can also be used as a lasso or a chain, because I guarantee it will never break. At the one side we see a quite convenient ear hooks, in the middle is a splitter, and the other side is the modular connection with 4 pins for 3.5 and 4.4 plugs, which gives you a choice of a wide range of sources. However, I do find this cable not really comfy in terms of its weight. It's really heavy and pulls the shells down, causing them to slide off my ears. But otherwise, this cable covers all this purpose. The Martilo also comes with 2 sets of ear tips, so let's take a closer look at them. The first set is grey silicone ear tips with a standard bore and a red core. By the way, the same ear tips are offered by chifi in their kits. Well, they are made of pretty stiff silicone and don't hold the shape well. While they don't change the signature sound of the IEMs in any way, I find them unsuitable for this set. Since this bassy model, I recommend you to use ear tips with a narrow bore, which would emphasize the character of the sound delivery. The second set are foam ear tips for those who are not fans of silicone ones and like really powerful bass and sound isolation. Personally, I'm not a fan of foam ear tips, so in this case I'll be using silicone ones. The Martilo shells are made of completely non-transparent resin using 3D printing. Despite the fact that this is new model of this brand, they are assembled very well. Nothing wobbles and the assembly is monolithic. The faceplates in the Martilo looks attractive and have been painted by hand, emphasizing the meaty soundstage. For me, this design reminds me of the Crimson Web collection from CS2. And what do you guys see in this design? Write about it in the comments. On the inner side of the shell, we can see the nozzle, which is not especially tall because of the shell shape, but still wide, with borders and mesh inside, which is replaceable. There is also a serial number of the model and channel indication. And next to the nozzle there is a stylish PunchAudio logo, which adds charm and identity. The shape of the Martilo shells is ergonomic with a secure fit due to the wavy form inside. The shells are quite bulky in size due to the complex driver layout, and I don't recommend them for small ears. For my small ears, These shells didn't fit properly and was always adjusting them because they keep falling off. It was really challenging to find a comfortable fit during testing. However, this fit issue can be fixed with a lighter cable and a comfy ear tips. But remember guys, that fit is a strictly individual thing and what works for me may not work for you. By the way, Martilo's sound isolation is decent thanks to the larger size of the shells and the snug, deep fit. In terms of sources, this set is predictable and reveals itself as the source power increases. The Martilo is a tribrid that has a low impedance of 9 ohms with a record low sensitivity of 100 decibels. But despite the specs, this set plays very quiet and dry directly from a smartphone, PC or in basic sources. So guys, I recommend you to get a powerful deck for Martilo, and in this review I use desktop deck Udelix 5K and Fosse Audio K7. Okay guys, let's move on to the most important part of this review, is the sound of this model. And we are gonna start with the graph to understand their sound signature. Well, the first thing we can see here is a significant increase in the lower region, and Lindsol claims that in Martilo the sub-bass shelf is raised by 14 decibels. Wow, that's crazy. I feel like this bass will knock out my dental fillings. The transition to the mid-bass is gradual, but it still remains significantly raised related to the mid-range, which suggests the same powerful delivery, but with a dominance of sub-bass over mid-bass. The mid-range in this model remains restrained and smooth, but overwhelmed related to the lower region. This may mean more distinct vocals due to the powerful lows, and instruments may sound softer. In the upper mid-range we can see a clear boost with the peak at 3 kHz, which brings clarity to the vocals and instruments, making them sound lively and emotional. However, further on after 5 kHz we can see a wave-like curve with quick peaks and dips, indicating detail in the treble without excessive brightness. Overall, the Martilo graph clearly showed a bassy V-shaped sound presentation with fundamental sub-bass and slightly emphasized on the upper mid-range. In reality, Martilo's sound can be described as deep, technical and energetic, where the bass plays a leading role but doesn't drown out the mids and trebles. I wouldn't call them basshead IEMs in the literal sense, but rather a carefully tuned device that rock out while maintaining musicality and technicality. Imagine a concert hall where powerful bass shakes the hall, vocals float above the stage and cymbals with guitars sparkle without getting lost in the soundstorm. That's exactly how Martilo sounds. From the very first second of listening, Martilo makes it clear that bass is their element. The name Martilo, translated from Spanish as hammer, perfectly describes their low end. It's powerful, heavy punch that can be felt not only in your ears but somewhere inside you. The low frequencies here are deep, massive and physically perceptible, with emphasis on sub-bass that goes to the very deep of the sound. So let's talk about it. The sub-bass in Martilo is really a black hole that pulls you into its deep. It's sent to the two 8mm dynamic drivers that works together to give you maximum deep without losing control. Even in the most challenging bass moments, where many IEMs start to mumble, Martilo keeps up, maintaining clarity and articulation. The only thing is, if the track isn't rich in the bass, the Martilo still adds a little bit of its own, which can be a good things for bass heads, but sometimes feel a bit intrusive in calmer genres like classicals. But that's a minor thing compared to how much fun there are with the bass track. Moving on to the mid-bass, Martilo shows they true masters of technicality and control. Here the bass becomes slightly less aggressive than the sub-bass, but still remains powerful and resilient, like a spring. This is the punch perfectly suitable for drums, bass guitars and MIDI instruments in the genres such as hip-hop, rock or EDM. The bass in Martilo isn't a deep background, but an active part of the sound that adds rhythm and energy to the beat. What's cool is the mid bass doesn't rumble or bleed into the lower mids like some bass-heavy IEMs do. It stays in its zone, providing density and warmth without sacrificing the clarity of vocals and instruments. This makes Martilo an excellent choice for those who want powerful bass, but are not willing to compromise of the clarity of other frequencies. The lower mids in Martilo are the thing that the vocals or instruments parts are built on. The sounds here is warm with a nice fullness, but a bit drowned out compared to the powerful bass. This makes it feel like the lower mids are a bit in the background, but they are still pretty rich. The male vocals here is deep, textured, with a slight harshness that comes across with incredible naturalness. However, due to the slightly subdued lower mids, the vocals may seem a little less dense. This doesn't mean that it sounds bad, rather the opposite. It's lively, emotional, just a little lighter than it could be. The same goes for the instruments. The piano sounds soft and enveloping, but without losing clarity, and the guitar in the lower register sounds warm and soft, but not as massive as I would say a bass guitar in rock. This makes the lower mids ideal for genres where excessive density isn't needed, but clarity and naturalness are important. The mid-range in Martilo is the golden mean, where emotionals and details merge together, thanks to the two Knowles armature drivers. However, they are not as expressive as the bass and not as sparkling as the treble, but this is where the music comes alive. Martilo with its V-shaped sound signature slightly moods the mid-range related to the powerful bass and airy treble, but does so wisely, maintaining a balance between drive and refinement. The mids in Martilo can be described as warm, emotional and musical. The mid-range doesn't stand out here, but gently recessed, allowing the bass and treble to shine, while retaining its expressiveness. This is ideal for those who love an emotional sound with a slight warmth. However, the upper mids in Martilo are the strong point, where vocals and instruments sounds bright, clear and incredibly emotional. The Knowles RD armature drivers are at best here, providing excellent detail and expression without a hint of harshness or sibilance. This is the kind of range that makes the Martilo versatility despite their basshead nature. Even in complex parts where the vocals take high peaks, there's not hint of harshness or brightness. The instruments in the upper mids don't falter either. The guitar sounds juicy and well textured, adding a light musical accent that doesn't get lost in the background of the vocals. The upper mids are slightly boosted, giving them brightness and energy, but they'll retain calm with no annoying peaks. This makes upper mids ideal for extended listening, where even after several hours your ears don't get tired and sound remains lively and engaging. The treble in the PunchAudio Martilo is an airy ringing spark that brings music to life without irritating the ears. They don't try to be as super detailed or analytical, but give musical lightness and scale, perfectly complementing the powerful low end and warm mids. The lower treble is bright and expressive, the upper treble is airy and extended, and the overall delivery is comfortable, doesn't get tiring. This is ideal choice for jazz, electronic, acoustic and rock, where the top end should shine but not overpower. The Martilo Soundstage is not particularly large, but it creates an immersively wide and spacious environment that draws you in completely. The stage is more impressive with its width than its depth, but it's surprisingly well organized for bass-heavy IEMs. Instruments and vocals are clearly separated, creating the feelings that you are standing in front of the stage and concert, where the musicians are arranged in their place and the sound envelops you from all sides. Transient or fast, especially in the treble and mid-range. The resolution is not at the level of reference IEMs, but for their price and bass focus, the Martilo surprise with the detail. They don't just punch, but also reveal subtle nuances, such as vocalist light breathing or its rustle of strings. Okay guys, in conclusion, PunchAudio Martilo is not your ordinary basshead IEMs, but a true musical all-rounder that combines power and sophistication. If you love deep, powerful bass but don't want to sacrifice vocal clarity, guitar texture or cymbal sparkle, Martilo is a safe pick for you. They are ideal for EDM, hip-hop, rock and even jazz, wherein you drive without losing detail. This is not your typical bass canon, but an IEMs with a character that makes you smile with a pleasure. This is PunchAudio debut and it's damn impressive. For $329 you get IEMs that surprise with their technical, thoughtful approach, not just their punch. If you're ready for bass hurricane with a touch of audiophile sophistication, head over to Linsoul and grab a Martilo. But don't forget to get them at least 100 of burn-in, so the dynamics drivers can reveal their full potential. And that's it folks. Many thanks to the Linsoul for their support, you are guys as always on fire. All the purchase link for the Martilo are in description below the video. Leave a comment with your thoughts on these IEMs, don't forget to like if you enjoyed the reviews and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new ones. Take care, enjoy the music and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!